welcome to Pilates Day today. We're going to use a ball and we'll be on our hands and knees for a little bit. So if you want a little knee pad, you can grab that as well. And we won't use the ball right away, but let's start laying down on our backs for the warm up today. So just getting comfy on your back, let's start to just breathe. So notice your regular breathing pattern. Take a breath in, blow it out, and then just take some normal breaths and see if you can feel where your breath is going in your body. Are you tending to breathe heavily into your ribs or into your belly or into your low back, into your shoulders? Hopefully not the shoulders. And see if you can start to send a little bit more breath into your rib cage. So laying down on your back, you have the connection of your ribs to the floor. So when you inhale, see if you can feel that connection to the floor deepen at the back of your ribs. And when you exhale, let's start to find a little connection to the abdominal muscle. So pulling the ribs in, contracting the abs. Inhale, expand. Exhale, contract. One more big breath like that. Inhale and exhale. And let's start to find some movement. Take a breath in to prepare. And when you exhale, reach the arms overhead. Probably not touching down overhead. And then inhale, return. So you're just slicing through the air there. Exhale, go overhead. Inhale, return. Feel your scapulas move around on your back as you do this, right? They're touching the floor, so they're gonna find some movement, and you're just waking up that connection. You feel your shoulder blades, you know where they're going. Exhaling as you go overhead to maintain your ribcage connection. Inhale as you return. Two more like that. Because we're gonna be on hands and knees tabletop for a little bit, I wanna make sure that you are aware of what your shoulders are doing. Let's keep the hands straight up towards the sky. Inhale, open up like you're hugging a big tree. Exhale and bring it back up to the ceiling. Inhale and exhale. So you will feel a little bit of movement on this one, but feel how you just feel so broad and expansive in your collarbones as your arms open up, but that doesn't necessarily collapse behind your back, right? We're not gonna let the ribs shift up. We're feeling expansive not only in the chest, but across the back of your shoulder girdle as well. One more like that. Inhale and exhale. Take the arms down next to you. Find your pelvis. Exhale, imprint. Roll your pubic bone closer to your nose. Inhale, release. Exhale, tuck under. Feel that connection of low back to the mat. Inhale, release, and imagine a little rainbow under your back. Exhale, imprint. Inhale, release. Let's grow that. Exhale, imprint, and roll it up into a bridge. One vertebrae at a time. Inhale at the top. Exhale, melt it down. Try to round the chest down to the mat first. Keep that connection. Find imprint. Release to neutral. Exhale, imprint. Roll it up. One bone at a time. Leave the shoulders out of it if you can. Take a breath in. Exhale, roll it down bone by bone and try to keep the shoulder girdle broad across the front and the back. One last time. Exhale, roll it up. Inhale at the top. And exhale, roll it down bone by bone. From here, let's start to find some movement in the legs. So maybe just sweep one leg away from you and pull it back in. Exhale, sweep the other leg away and pull it back in. I just want you to feel some movement there because we're going to do some leg work in our first bit of work here. Just to get the core activated here, let's do a little bit of crunching, a little twisting, just so that you start to feel your abs. So I'm just dragging, sort of alternating, dragging a heel in, alternating, dragging a toe in. Let's do one more on each leg. Try to keep your pelvis stable, no movement there. Good, okay, windshield wiper the legs side to side a couple of times. And then let's make our way back to center and let's reach our hands, hover the arms next to you. Inhale here, and as you exhale, nod your chin and roll it up into a crunch. And then let's inhale, lower back down. You stay neutral the whole time. Exhale, nod the chin, roll it up. Inhale, roll it down. Try not to crush that imaginary rainbow underneath your low back. Feel how your rib cage rolls deeper into the mat when you do your crunch. And then when you lower back down, you want to try to maintain that connection. Don't let the ribs flare up. 2 more. Exhale, roll it up. Inhale, roll it down. 1 more through center. And then for the next one, you're going to take your right arm and reach it across your body, across towards the left knee, and roll up at a bit of a diagonal. Inhale, come back to center, and it might be easier to take your hands straight up towards the sky. So when you exhale, you curl it up and you add a twist over to the right. Inhale, untwist, uncurl. Exhale, roll it up, twist at the top. Don't let the pelvis go with you like I just did with mine. One more time on the other side. Exhale, roll, twist, inhale, uncurl, and unroll. Lower down, roll over into your side, and make your way up into hands and knee tabletop position. We're not going to use the ball just in the first one. I'm just grabbing my knee pad here. So we're not going to use the ball right away, but we're going to use it in just a second. So find the hands and knee tabletop. You can tuck your toes under if you want a little bit of warm up through the legs there. So find your neutral. Take a second, move things around, feel that neutral spine that you are so familiar with, and then take a breath in. When you exhale, take your right leg back behind you. Straight back, neutral pelvis, parallel alignment in the hips and the legs. Keeping that parallel, you're going to slide, sort of sweep your leg over to one side, and then sweep it back across toward midline. I'll show you from a back view so that you get a better idea of what's going on. So your leg will sweep over to one side, staying parallel, and then sweep over across midline without letting the pelvis shift. So trying to hold on to your even pelvic alignment as you just let that leg sweep across side to side. If you were standing, you would be abducting and adducting, and you're still doing that on your hands and knees, but it's just the leg moving. There's no pelvic movement here, so that you really feel the inner thigh, specifically when you go across midline, and you try to get that outer thigh as you go across to the outside. Try to keep the same height on the leg the whole time. We want the glute active here. Don't want the leg close to the ground because then you're losing out on a bit of that work here. So let's do 4 more. Inhale, exhale. I exhale when I go across midline because I struggle more with inner thighs than I do outer thighs. If you're the opposite of me, you might want to exhale as you sweep across to the outside. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, exhale. Bring that leg back down, and let's go right to the other side. So find your neutral, reset, make sure that your pelvis hasn't tucked under, dipped out, and send the leg back behind you. I think I'm ready to untuck my toes here. So nice pointed ankle, inhale, sweep it across to the outside, and exhale across midline. Again, just a note on the breathing. You breathe out on whatever portion is hardest for you. For me, that's going across midline. My inner thighs desperately don't want to work, and I desperately want to shift my pelvis over. So see if you can hold on to that and exhale at whichever part of this move makes you cringe more. Check and make sure that your leg is staying at a constant height. So sometimes you might need to look back and see what's going on, but I don't suggest staying there for too long. If you have a mirror, that would be more helpful, so that you don't lose your alignment. But if not, just look down in between your legs, check in on the leg height, and keep going for 4 more here. I'm inhaling and exhaling. 3 more. Check in on your shoulders and your head. I did see a lot of sort of collapsing there this week in this move, and I think 1 more. Bring that leg down. Give your hands, your wrists a little shake out. We're not going to do quite as many reps on this next move, but you do need the ball. Ball goes behind your right knee. I will show you from a back view so that you see what this rainbow looks like. You are in your hands and knee tabletop position. The right leg is behind you, and my right knee is going to draw a rainbow. So we're going to come out to the side, lift up, over, and down across the other side. Now, same idea as this last move. Try to avoid shifting the pelvis. So you're more than likely not going to get that knee touching down anywhere. It's just going to make you use your hamstrings, your glutes for the lift portion. You're going to use your abductors as the leg comes out to the side. You're going to use your inner thighs as the leg tries to cross down towards midline. Maybe you get across the leg. Maybe you just get knee to knee sort of type position. But we're just doing 4 more here. So exhale wherever it's hardest for you. Hold on to that neutral spine. Meaning the obliques working really hard here so that you're not shifting your weight, you're not wagging your tail. Try to wag your leg, not your tail. One more, I think. And then we're going to come right down and move the ball over to the other side. Same thing. I'll change direction so you can see what's going on. Left leg holding the ball. Totally okay if you drop the ball or if it's really tough for you to hold on to. Just keep a bent knee if that's the case. Lift the leg behind you. Fight to not go into a dip in the spine and start coming out to one side, lifting up and over and down to the other. Try to find the absolute biggest range of motion that you can get in your leg, not in your pelvis. Challenge yourself. How much can you move that leg? Sometimes I have to go really, really slowly. And then I'm like, oh, there's some more inner thigh. I feel that working. Ugh. And then it's a struggle to get it back up and over. But the slower you go, sometimes you start to feel those muscles wake up. And you realize, oh, I have been shifting my pelvis this whole time. Let's just do 4 more here. Watch what the shoulders and the ribs are doing as well. They are important to your neutral spine. 2 more. Pull the belly button up and in when you exhale. Whatever part of that move you're exhaling on. And 1 more. Let that go. Let's take a little shell stretch. Rest your shoulders, rest your wrists. We're not going to be on the wrists anymore. But we are going to be on the shoulders for just 1 more move here. So relax your shoulders. Okay, here we go. I think I'll keep the bat. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to come down onto our elbows for an elbow, sort of elbow tabletop position. From here, I'd like for you to tuck your toes under. And let's just check in on what's happening in the spine. This can be kind of a tight pose for some people. You might feel really restricted in your shoulders, and honestly, that's okay. You just keep working at whatever degree you can. You might feel, like me, the desire to go into sort of a puppy pose. Let's not do that. Let's try to hold on to neutral if we can. And work within your range of motion. First things first, keep both feet on the ground, tuck your toes under, and you're just going to exhale and lift your knees up off of the mat and lower back down. Do that a couple of times, exhaling on your way back, inhaling on your way down. Challenge yourself not to get your heels to the ground, but to hold on to your neutral pelvis. So if you're very flexible in your hamstrings, you might get to a straight knee and doubtfully heels down, but the straight knee, the heels down is far less important than you holding onto your neutral. So if you are here and you're already in a tapped tailbone, you probably won't be able to go very far. Really try to spin the pelvis open here, splaying out the sit bones, and you are going to feel one heck of a hamstring stretch. I think I'm going to leave it with this move today, so let's do 4 more. And we'll grow this move next week, if I remember what I'm saying. 2 more. And last one. Bring that down, rest your shoulders. Let's do more of a child's pose than a shell stretch. So you can stack your hands under your forehead and just slow your breathing down and relax your shoulders. They're probably all tensed up and ready to roll. Let's down train them a little bit. Oh, calm down over there. Okay, come up to a seated position and roll over onto your back. We are going to do some ab work. You don't need any equipment for the ab work today, just your body. We are going to start with the legs all the way out long. And I want you to activate your legs. So not released, not corpse pose, but stretching your legs away from you. You do not have to bring your legs all the way together, but I do want them very, very active, reaching away. Hands are just going to be on the ground, and take a second to feel what your spine is doing. Are you more restricted in any space in your spine because your legs are straight versus how we usually lay on our backs with our knees bent? What do you feel, and what do you need to adjust to find a little bit more neutral? For me, my ribs really want to flare open when my legs are stretched out, so I'm going to focus on melting the ribs into the mat. You might have something different going on, and just check in with that. So to start, without letting the pelvis rock and roll, you're going to drag one heel in, reach it up as high as you can into a hamstring stretch, keep it straight, lower it back down. Other leg, drag it in, straighten it out, lower down. So once you've got a hang of the leg pattern, how the leg is moving, I want you to take your hands to your hips and monitor what they are doing. Is there a rocking feeling? Specifically, when your leg is straight, is that hip taking a dip down towards the ground? Can you use your obliques to keep that hip lifting so that you don't get that movement in the pelvis? Sometimes, like I'm doing right now, I'm keeping an eye on my pelvis. So it helps for me to be able to see what's going on. It does take a little bit of neck work to hold your head up, but you don't have to hold it up. You just have to do it a couple of times, monitor what's going on, make those fixes, and then keep the fixes going. Let's do one more here. Okay, now we're going to take it to another level. You can keep doing this way, or you can bend your knees, find an imprint, and take your legs up to, let's start with the legs straight up towards the sky. Everybody's hamstring flexibility is going to be different here, but the idea of the move is the same no matter where your hamstring flexibility is. Hold on to your imprint, lower your legs to a nice high diagonal. Don't try to go low, it's going to be really hard. Same move. You'll drag one leg in, stretch it up, and then bring it to meet the other leg. Drag the other leg in, stretch it up, bring it to meet. So you're holding on to that neutral spine. And exhale wherever it's hardest. For me, it's when the legs come together. So it's right here. Inhale, drag. Exhale, meet. Inhale, drag. Exhale, meet. Woohoo! Your legs don't have to get straight, but try for that hamstring stretch right there. Feels really nice. Hello, check in on your shoulders. I just felt mine going, trying to do all the work for me when they cannot participate here. One more on the other leg. And we are going to rest before we move forward. So, how are your hip flexors? How are your hamstrings? Rock side to side. And we're going to add a layer. The thing about adding this layer is that you can do it with the legs in the hover, or you can do it with your legs on the ground like our first part of the move. So start wherever you think you want to start and modify as necessary. I'm going to start with my legs on the diagonal here, but you're going to take your hands behind your head for this one. So wrap the elbows up a little bit, nod your chin, roll it up into a crunch. Take your legs into whatever position you're going to start in. Hold on to the imprint if your legs are in the air. From here, we're adding a twist. So you're going to drag one leg in and twist towards it, and then uncurl or untwist as you stretch and return. Other side, drag it in, twist, uncurl, meet. So now you have a little bit of work to do as far as deciding where your exhale is going to be. I still find that the hardest part of the move is legs out on the diagonal. So I'm going to inhale for my twist and then exhale as they meet. And then you feel like a dancer here. You've kind of created a dance with your legs going on. Check in that you're still in control of the abdominal pressure here, that you're not bulging everything up and pushing open, but that you're holding on to some support in your core. And let's do one more on each leg. Last one. Lower that that down. Ooh, abs, abs, abs. Rock side to side. Take a rest there. Yeehaw. Let's roll over onto our sides. We'll do a little side work, and if we have time, we'll make it over to prone. So roll over onto your side, grab your ball. Ball is going to come underneath your rib cage, and you're resting on it. And as far as just a little tip on ball placement, bigger ball, different size balls can change different things, as well as the length of your torso. So you're gonna have to find what works for you. For me, right at bra line tends to be a good spot for me and this size ball. But if you are taller and have a small blue ball, you're gonna have to make some adjustments, and also it's gonna be a little harder for you to find. Rest your head in your hand and get comfy. Both knees can stay bent for now because I want you to find your core. So take a second, like my elbow was too far back, so then it was hard for me to pull everything in. So I'm gonna adjust my elbow forward. Find a neutral spine where you're very in control and you're not at the whims of rolling on the ball. Straighten out your top leg. Externally rotate your top leg. So roll that knee until it faces a little bit up, and then when you exhale, you'll lift your leg and lower. Now, the thing about this leg out in an external rotation is that it's likely not going to be going straight up towards the ceiling, because if it is, that probably means that your pelvis rolled backwards in space. So try to keep your pelvis forward. And if you have very little external rotation, your foot might actually be just straight out in front of you. It might not be very high. So think about that for a second. It's not about the height of the leg. Imagine an arrow was pointing straight out of your kneecap. That is the line that you follow to lift your leg. So if you have minimal external rotation, it will be far more in front of you than up. And then back to the work. Find your core. Make sure you're not just doing this all in the leg and whipping it around, but you're holding on for 4 more. And 3. And 2. Final 1. Ooh, that's good on the hips. Lower the legs, let them rest. Keep your arms where they are. And now you're going to maybe try, maybe pretend, and exhale. Hover away from the mat, inhale, lower. So this is where it comes into play, the length of your torso, the size of the ball, maybe even how inflated the ball is. For me, short torso, very inflated ball. Right at my bra line is perfect. I'm able to lift off. If I move the ball closer to my waist, I am almost not able to lift off. A great way to challenge yourself if you want to, or a great way to make it more accessible, to keep it in a range where you feel successful. 2 more. And last one. We are done on this side. So come off of the ball. I'm going to switch around and move it over to the other. And take a second, because you're not going to be able to set yourself up in an instant just because you felt good on the other side. So do some fixing, do some tweaking here. Get into position, check in. Do you need to slide the elbow forward so that you can pull the ribs in so you're not back bending here? All of my rib flavors. And then engage your core. So try to feel like you're holding yourself here, that you're not relying on the ball. And then you're going to take your top leg, stretch it away from you, externally rotate the leg, keep the pelvis stacked, and follow the line of the knee. Whatever a straight line out of your knee makes, follow that line. So find your external rotation and work from there, remembering it might be far more in front of you. And that's okay. That's a great place to be, because you're still going to feel it, right? So my leg is not staying in a straight line down next to me, because that would require a parallel rotation in the leg. So external rotation, and the leg moves forward. So that's where you can see that I can get far more range of motion, because I'm not required to stay straight down out of the hip. I'm coming a little bit forward. I have a little bit more flexibility there, but that might not be the same for you. It might be far harder for you to work in external rotation than for you to work in a parallel. Everyone is different. Thank goodness. Check on your pelvis. Just take a visual look down there. Notice if you were to like drill a skewer down in through your pelvis. Ow, I don't know, sorry, but that's what you're doing in your head. Is that skewer going to be leaning back and forward, or are you able to hold on to that position for 4 more? Find your core here. Try to take the shoulders out of it if you can. 2 more. And you're done with this leg. Lower it down. Give it a little rest. Give it a little massage if you need. Find your upper body. Try to notice if your like camera or your screen is placed in a weird spot next to you. Take your eyes off the screen and look forward, and then try to go for that side crunch. Don't worry too much about the bottom elbow. Sometimes I want to go deeper down so that I can feel like I get a really big successful lift. So just take your elbow out of the way. You don't have to touch the elbow down. Conversely, if you are here and you are like, oh, barely getting your elbow up, then amazing. Leave your elbow where it is because you need it for support. Imagine that you're in a toaster, so we're not twisting up towards the sky. We're not looking down and rolling backwards or rolling forward. You're staying right in between those toaster grill lines. I'm gonna eat toast after this, I think. And let's do 4 more here. Remembering that you might need to adjust where your ball is on your body. 2 more. And last one. Lower that down, come off of your ball, put it off to the side, just lay down on your back and stretch your legs away from you, stretch your arms away from you, get nice and big and long, allow the ribs to come up, allow your spine to arch if that's what feels good for you, and melt into your mat. So let's take the arms down next to us. Take the legs, the feet about as wide as your mat, but let your knees fall in towards each other. Most importantly is that the knees are resting against each other, not that the feet are super wide. I want your legs restful. From here, breathe into your belly. Let it go. Breathe into your pelvic floor. Let it go. Keep going for a few more breaths, expanding through your whole entire core cylinder, from your rib cage to the side of your ribs, the back of your ribs. Your low back expands on your inhales, your belly expands on your inhales, your pelvic floor lengthens and expands on your inhales. No need to lift and pull up on the exhale, just let the exhales happen. We did a lot of core, a lot of lifting in the pelvic floor through the class, so take this time to stretch it out. And let that go. Cross one ankle over the opposite knee. Maybe pull it in for a little bit of a stretch. Maybe a little rock side to side. Feel that stretch travel around behind that leg. And let that go. Switch sides. Pulling it in, give it a little rock side to side. And then come back to center. Make your way up to a seated position, just sitting up nice and tall, however you feel comfy. And let's go for a side bend, up and over to one side. Breathe in while you're here. And come all the way back up on the exhale. Other side. Breathe in when you get there. All the way back up, sitting up nice and tall. Just nod your chin in towards your chest. Rock one ear over to the same shoulder. Rock the other way. Come back to center, restack, take a big breath in. Sigh it out. And let that go. Happy Pilates Day to you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you